Here with NSU coach Mike McConathy. Coach, this team goes back out on the road Thursday at UIW, Saturday at Corpus. It's the two teams that where NSU started their streak here at home. Obviously, going out on the road, it's two tough opponents. It's certainly going to be tough, but this team is certainly capable of putting something together with 5 games left.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt about it. And what we got to remember is that there's 5 league games, and what we've got to do is we got to figure this thing out and get hot at the right time going into a conference tournament. And, you know, the luxury is this year all 8 teams go to the conference tournament. So, you know, very well could be if we get hot at the right time, if we stay healthy, we get through the little bitty bumps and bruises and the different diseases and things like that we've had. It's been a tumultuous year. I don't know if that's the correct way to pronounce that, but it's been tough. And I mean, we've had this go wrong, that go wrong, but you've got to persevere. You've got to continue to do the little things to try to improve and get better. And for the most part, I think we have. We just didn't finish well this past week in the games. We played some good basketball, had some great individual performance out of guys, but we just hadn't finished well. And I look for us to be much better this weekend and as we go forward into the last games.
You know, there was an opportunity missed this past week, but even with that, you're still only 1 game out of that 4 slot for the bye. So, I mean, a lot of things still in play. You know, this league, UIW has 1 league win, but it was against number 1 New Orleans. I mean, It feels like a very competitive league top to bottom where anything can happen.
Yeah, it really can, and that's the thing about it, and that's why you got to keep working hard and be positive and moving forward, trying to get it going at the right time. And there is a lot of balance. And you know, I always talk about this, and a lot of people, you know, they don't understand it. Basketball is a game of matchups. And, you know, if you match up well with the team, for instance, McNeese, our matchup ended up not being a very good matchup because before it was not great, but it even got worse because they had some guys out, and it created some problems for us in a short period of you're trying to figure out what you're going to do, because you go into a game plan with a game plan, and you know, you have to do that. I mean, you get somebody foul out, you got to adjust the game plan as you're moving in the game. And so they did an excellent job, and you know, we've just got to overcome that. And they'll have Drew Lutz back at Incarnate Word, who didn't play against us, but of course Yoder played exceptionally well against us. So you know, it'll be a situation where it will be a different game than the previous 2 games. The first game we played against them was different than the last game we played against them. Now we're going in for the 3rd time to play against a team. So, you know, it's going to be a tough matchup, but I believe that, you know, we'll be prepared and we'll be ready to play.
3 times in a regular season, because of that Southland Conference tip-off event, you drew UIW in that 2nd game. You mentioned how it's certainly going to be different because different players were available for different games, but what does that do for preparation when you're going to see a team a 3rd time, and you'll see Corpus a 3rd time as well?
Well, I think that you know, you pretty much seen most what they have, but you're coming into another one, and here's the irony of that: you may get to play again 4th time. You know, and that was my argument all along about it. It makes it really difficult because it's really, really tough to beat a team once, but tough to beat somebody twice, tough to go on there. So, you know, we're hopeful. You know, last year Incarnate Word came in here and got us, and we won there. This year we were able to break out and get the win here. They're very methodical. They're very well coached. They're going to do exactly what Coach Cunningham wants them to do. If they shoot the ball well, if they get you get put in a position where you give up backdoor buckets, you know, if you don't close out on their tall shooters, you're going to have problems. So those are some things that we've got to make sure that we take care of.
Turnovers 2 games ago was a big deal against HBU, but then for the 2nd time against McNeese, this team limited its turnovers, and McNeese is very good at forcing them. This team has also protected the ball well so far against UIW. Where do you feel like that trend is going?
I think that trend of the Houston Baptist game was a trend of fatigue. I think that it was really hot in here. I think that our guys got worn down. We had guys playing too many minutes. I should have subbed more often. At Houston the week before, I put 5 in and 5 out. We played. We got stronger as the game went on. In this situation, it didn't merit itself. It didn't work well. It just didn't flow like we wanted it to. And I mean, so we got to be ready. I've got to have better play out of, I think that Robert Ugas and Sean Riley are 2 guys that I'm depending on to compete, because they're long and they're athletic and they'll be able to cover out on shooters and help us a good bit. So I'm looking forward to seeing them in action.
Ball movement has been really good this year. Assist numbers are high, top 20 team in terms of total assists. Your teams typically move the ball pretty well, but does it seem like this group has they taken it to a new level with the inside out?
I think that I watched something today in practice, and we went to something immediately. Kendall caught it and threw it backside. I think that guys are throwing the ball inside. If Kendall has something, he doesn't have something, he throws it out. But when the ball, I'm going to give you my numbers that we read about. If the ball goes inside and out, it's an increased percentage of scoring. If the ball goes from side to side on the floor, it increases your percentage of score like 22%. And if you go back to certain games where we've really done a good job of that, we've really been really, really good. But when one ball gets in one hand and we don't get the number of turnover, we had assists, we had 14 on Saturday, and I didn't really think we moved the ball like we needed to move it. We could have had a lot more. We could have had 18 to 20 if we'd have moved the ball better. So it has been enjoyable. It's interesting about this team. Statistically, this team is doing better in statistics than maybe any of the teams, but we hadn't been able to put the wins together. So that tells you you're really close. And so just hope. The one thing that's just the hardest thing for me to figure out is we cannot get to the free throw line. I've never been around a team that came Saturday 37-13. Numerous games this year, it's been 25 or 30-9. So I'm trying to figure that out. Brian has shot 2 free throws in conference play. That's a point guard.
Point guard who drives.
So I can't get a grasp on what the issue there is. Are we not attacking? Are we shooting too many threes and not getting to the bucket? But that Kendall did get to the bucket free throw line 8 times the other night, for the most that he's gotten there in a long time. Early in the season against Southeastern, we got to the line 20 plus times. Didn't shoot very well. We've been shooting the ball a lot better from a free throw line since that point.
That was my next thing, and the final thing is this team is making a lot of free throws, like probably 75-77% in the last 3 weeks or so. I mean, obviously, you coach it or whatever, but I mean, what's it like to see them go in, the ones that you are taking?
Oh, it's really good. I mean, we've in fact, in the Houston Baptist game, Kendall and Carvel were making their free throws, which was holding them off. And that was a big deal.
Yeah. Coach Mike McConathy, thank you very much.